On the 23rd of April 2008, police in Copenhagen were called to a fire at number 7 Tiergarde Street. Due to the highly flammable nature of the materials contained in the flat, virtually everything inside had been destroyed by the time firefighters managed to take control of the inferno. When forensic scientists were able to gain entry to the premises, they found that the occupant of the flat had been in the process of assembling an extensive archive containing thousands of videos and paper documents filling 32 filing cabinets. From the organization of the archive, investigators were later able to ascertain that the occupant had been engaged in creating a comprehensive video catalogue of the inhabitants of Copenhagen. Files were arranged by names and by types, the archivist arranging different people according to criteria and category. The only piece of undamaged evidence, however, was a video camera secured in a box in the kitchen. The camera contained a tape of the last study undertaken by the archivist, which experts established had been made on the very same day as the apartment had been destroyed. City Hall records showed that a Madam Sørensen was the owner not only of the flat containing the archive, but of the whole block. Records also showed that she leased the adjacent apartments to holiday makers and other visitors to the city, and on inspection of the block found closed-circuit surveillance devices in each of the apartments from which she gathered material to make her research. Madam Sørensen was subsequently apprehended at a homeless shelter near Longbridge, where she had been attempting to write letters of apology to everybody in the city, though she had absent-mindedly used the hostel's headed notepaper to do so. She was taken into custody, where she was charged with arson, and cooperated with investigators without reserve. But when pressed for her motive, she was unable to explain her actions. Psychiatric examiners determined that she was defending a fixed idea. The surviving tape was later examined at the Institute of Film and Video Studies in Copenhagen by the senior lecturer at the Department of Post-Feminine Studies. It contained the last study undertaken by Madam Sørensen, whose subject was a Mr. George Longbridge and his daughter, who had rented an apartment from Sørensen on the same day that she had incinerated her archive. The subject was identified by passport images that were included at the beginning of the tape, which were in all probability stolen from him and later returned. By good fortune, the examiner of the tape recognised Mr. Longbridge as having been the keynote speaker at the St. George's Day Conference at the Institute of Film and Video Studies that same year. Partial footage of his speech was recorded on cell phone by a student at the Institute.
And it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you today's guest speaker and to deliver the St. George's Day lecture, Mr. George Longbridge. Thank you, Professor Sharma. I was hoping to present a paper today that I prepared for a conference at the University of East Anglia last autumn on the subject of independence in independent cinema, as I feel the particular need to re-evaluate the importance which we as a society and as individuals place upon independence. Specifically, are we to treat our independence as a stepping stone to commercial success? Are we to put a price tag on our independence? Or are we instead to recognise the value intrinsic to independence itself, a value which can only be appraised according to independence from commercial, normative, common valuations? And although I feel very much inclined to speak on this subject, I am instead going to share some of the thoughts which I had as I travelled around Copenhagen this morning with my daughter, doing all of the things associated with being a tourist. And I would like to do this in order to explore the notion of philosophical tourism, a notion by which we appreciate, somewhat aesthetically, philosophical positions as if on holiday, without commitment, without living with them, so to speak.